everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Cozy Christopher. Today is another part of the Atomos H.265 upgrade and kind of revisiting a really cool feature of the Atomos Ninja V is that it can be used as a gaming recorder. So we all know about the Elgato series and the Avery Live series, but if you already own this as a content creator, this is also a tool that you can use to record your gaming. And as you see, it works just like the AverMedia or either the Elgato series as well. But the caveat on this one is that it is a much more powerful recorder than those. So those are, tools that you have to use in conjunction with a PC, aside from the, the portable one by Elgato, which it's not very good. Unfortunately, I'm hoping to see what they do next, but it was, for what it is, it's a good product. But this particular is an all-in-one system. Obviously, this is used for creating movies and different things like that. So as a side job, you can use it as a game recorder as well. And with the new addition to the H.265, it now makes sense, because now that the file sizes are smaller, you can actually use this one as an actual recorder for your gaming. So let's go through some of the things to know if you're thinking about using this as a recorder for your games. And obviously, I would not go out and buy this with a price tag of $599. I mean, if you have enough money, I guess you could. But what this does is that it records the games in log, I guess. Here is what it looks like in the H.265 format. Now, the nice thing about H.265 is that it is a really great codec. It compresses the data really, really well. But it does have a reputation for being hard to edit. Now, my system is pretty spec'd out, so I don't really have issues with playback of the H.265 codec. But that's something to keep in mind when using the codec. So it's kind of like you have to kind of weigh your options. If you're, is it compression and, the ability to stretch out your storage, that you want, or do you want to, on this particular instance with the Atomos Ninja V, do you want to focus on, this codec, which is the ProRes codec? Now, the ProRes codec is the one that is built into, obviously, the Atomos Ninja V. Like, this is the bread and butter of the Ninja V, and this is what, makes this an amazing professional grade recorder, if you will, because it records and it's a field monitor at the same time. But this particular codec, the ProRes codec, is known for just being giving you as much data as possible, and these are some extremely large files. And if you think about that, you have full control over the dynamic range, the HDR, the just you have full control over it, and that's what makes this the preferred codec. But with the H.265, it opens up the world to so many more types of content creators. So let's look through, the difference between the two, if you will. Well, not first. Let's look at the H.265 codec. So as I mentioned before, when you're recording with this codec, it is in log. Now you can still see color and different things like that. You don't have to bake a loot into it, meaning that you don't have to load a loot onto the Atomos Ninja V while you're recording to see color and different things like that. It's decent, and to the untrained eye, they wouldn't know. It would just look like it's 1080p or something like that. If you want to, get the best out of it, or if you want to be able to customize it and things like that afterwards, you certainly can. You can add a loot to the, or loot LUT, whatever people call it, to the footage. And as you can see, like now you see the full 4K 60, footage, of the game. Resident Evil Village is a 4K 60 game. And you know, the cool thing about this is that you can change the LUT. Now I'm self-conscious about the word, but you can change it from, you know, different styles, and you can customize it, you know, and different things like that. Now, typically, you don't want to do that with gameplay. You can, you know, if you want a custom look, but you want people to see the game the way that it is. But super interesting that you can, like I mentioned, like you can have, you have the log variant when it's H.265, and then, you know, if you want to leave it that way, you can. But you can also add the LUT or LUT to it to make it look the way it's supposed to look. Interesting enough is that when the recorder is on the camera, it's no longer recording in log, but I'm guessing that that is something that is specific to the game. I do know that when you're recording games, using the Elgato, it's also in log. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's just something. Maybe the PlayStation, as I am recording this on the PlayStation 5, maybe the PlayStation 5 sends a log signal to the recorder, whether it's this one or it's the or the Elgato series. So super interesting. But one of the cool things to note is that when we're back on camera now, and if you want to do a comparison, I guess, now that we're back on the camera, the footage from the H.265 is very similar to the ProRes, and it is not very easy to tell the two apart. So I zoomed in a little bit on the ProRes. It's also a different time of day, but camera's sitting in the same space. But I zoomed in a little bit so that you all could see if you could tell the difference between the two footages. Now this one, again, like I said, is the ProRes. And you know, when I was going through the editing, you know, it's not that very different at all, which is super interesting because the ProRes does have more data in it. It does have, you know, more dynamic range and etc. So you should see a difference within the footage, but it's super interesting to see that there's not much, you know, difference in that footage for the H.265 on camera versus the, you know, ProRes on camera. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. With this being a portable monitor recorder with headphones in, mic in, this is almost the perfect recorder if you can afford this as a standalone. But I would say if you're already a content creator and you are doing gaming, like, this is definitely something that you can use as opposed to the Elgato variant. This one still has the same cap. It's still capped at 4K 60, but it is a complete pass-through with zero lag. So you get multiple different, I guess, codecs that you can choose from. All of the best codecs out there, the highest quality codecs on the market right now, ProRes, H.265, etc. And with the battery, it's completely mobile, or you can plug it in for always on power. I guess one of the things that we do have to talk about that surprised me, that is not so good, would be that the H.265 codec is limited to about 12 minutes. And I confirmed that that's not just for using it as a recorder, but it's also for when you have it on the camera as well. It stops every about 12 minutes and 30 seconds. And if you're paying attention while you're gaming, then you can restart it. You know, it doesn't lose any footage in between. Like, it puts a little kangaroo symbol on there, and if you know what that means on the Atomos, is that the signal stopped is what it says. But in reality, that's the software. So I'm hoping that they can fix that with the firmware update in the future. But that was the only real caveat that I saw to the H.265, and I'm going to do another video on this. As you know, for regular use, you know, the H.265 codec for regular use with the Atomos Ninja V on top of the camera. in your normal circumstances. So be on the lookout for that. But in the meantime, please give a like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon to be notified of all the videos that I drop, because again, I am doing gaming gear and reviews now. So stay tuned for some pretty cool content coming down the road. But as always, stay cozy in that crazy world, and I'll see you next time. Peace.